here's a glimpse into the not-so-distant future, if you believe companies like Magic Leap, that is. They're trying to develop a set of glasses that allow users to add to the environment around them. This year's Web Summit comes on the heels of the Facebook rebrand, with an emphasis on the so-called metaverse. And while that kind of tech might be years away, proponents of AR say it's closer to the here and now.
When you think about it, VR, you put on a device and then you're in another world. But with AR, you put on a device, you're still in your world, but we're augmenting it with digital content.
But beyond the gadgets and toys at the Web Summit, concerns over Facebook, one of the biggest proponents of a virtual reality future, are casting a shadow over the event. The tech titan recently rebranded its parent company to Meta, but critics of Facebook, Meta, say the rebrand is just cover for the mounting issues on the platform. Whistleblower Frances Haugen spoke at the conference opening.
Secondary thing, I think there's a meta problem at Facebook, which is that over and over again, Facebook chooses expansion in new areas over sticking the landing on what they've already done.
But Meta VP Nick Clegg hit back at the accusations while admitting the company needs to do more.
For us at Meta, it is that I think that this will accelerate more transparency, including over algorithms, more research, including about kids online, and more regulation. I hope sensible regulation. Of course you need new rules of the road for these industries. They're very young industries. Meta is only 16 years old.
There's a lot on the line for Facebook in the coming years. Fallout is still raining down from the Facebook papers, even while Meta attempts to branch into new hardware. It'll be a crowded field. Other companies with fewer reputational stains are also looking to make the leap into this exciting new arena.
Brittany Kaiser leads the Own Your Data Foundation. She's known for publicly exposing Cambridge Analytica's misuse of Facebook user data in 2018. She joins us from the Web Summit. Welcome, Brittany. So the first in-person Web Summit in 2 years, all anyone can talk about is Facebook. What does that tell us about the scale of Facebook's problem at the moment?
I think this tells us that a lot of the problems that I helped highlight 3.5 years ago have still not been solved. And instead of investing in the large-scale solving of capacity building on issues like disinformation, like targeting ahead of elections, and many other issues that Facebook is facing, they instead have decided to have everyone else look elsewhere and expand upon the metaverse instead.
Now, as you've pointed out there, that was probably done in an effort to counter the negative narrative. It also did there at the Web Summit. Has it worked in any way?
I don't think so. There are plenty of critics around here that are looking at the Meta rebrand and really wondering if Facebook is the right company to be building large-scale metaverse infrastructure. I personally spend a lot of time building blockchain technologies, advanced forms of encryption and data protection technologies, and I think the metaverse will be in much safer hands if it's not led by Mark Zuckerberg.
Who should be leading such trends such as these?
I think here at the Web Summit, especially while it coincides with COP26, people here are talking about not just how technology can become more ethical, but also how it can become sustainable. I sit as executive chair of Griffin Digital Mining, and we're one of the companies that is working towards building large-scale renewable and sustainable and carbon-neutral infrastructure so that blockchain technologies and advanced forms of encryption can make sure as we head into the metaverse that our data is protected, that individuals have control, and that we can actually solve a lot of the issues that we've seen in the data industry over the past many years.
Now, you've mentioned data protection, but what do you think consumers most have to be aware of as virtual reality and augmented reality become ever more present?
It's so important for individuals to take their digital literacy seriously, understand not just how to use technology, but how it works on the back end. What data are you actually giving away each time you're using a new platform? read the terms and conditions of the applications you're using. Become a more conscious consumer of digital content and new technologies, because it is possible to use ethical technologies and sustainable technologies. They're becoming a lot more wide scale. Governments and entire multinational corporations now have the ability to implement blockchain on their back end. So I really think we're at the precipice of a huge opportunity for data protection and individual empowerment.
But do you think that this public scrutiny of Facebook now has helped with efforts around digital literacy?
I think so. The rise of awareness is always the first step. If people are aware that data protection and privacy is a problem, then they can start to look into personal solutions. But we also shouldn't be expecting that every single individual and citizen should be solely responsible. We need to make sure that legislators and regulators are solving this problem, as well as well-meaning technology entrepreneurs that are building solutions for these types of problems as well.
Very interesting indeed. But before we let you go, we have to ask, what was your biggest takeaway from this year's Web Summit?
My biggest takeaway from this year's Web Summit is that a lot of technologists are working incredibly hard to solve the problems that the original internet created. I had the opportunity to meet with Sir Tim Berners-Lee, and he himself recognizes that what he originally built has left us with a lot of salient issues. And so plugging those holes and making sure that large-scale technology solutions that allow people to own their data, allow people to interact in an ethical, transparent, and consensual way in our digital lives is really where the future is going. Web 3 instead of Web 2 and empowerment of individuals is definitely what we'll be seeing over the coming years.
Brittany Kaiser from the Own Your Data Foundation, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.